Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode of VENDO Velocity. We're glad you decided to join us today. We have a first-timer on the podcast, Brooke Wester, on my team. So I am going to let both her and Jaci introduce themselves. This is actually my first time with Jaci on a podcast, too. She chose to do her first podcast with someone else on our team. Who, of course, is near and dear to us, our SVP of Marketing, Nick Martinez, who kind of started all things corporate marketing here at VENDO. But really excited to have both of these ladies on the call with me today to talk through all things creator marketing, TikTok shop, what's working, how do we find creators, and all of the topics that are hard hitting at this time in a world where the creator economy just continues to accelerate at rapid speed. So Jaci, I'll turn it over to you first for an introduction.
Okay, I'm Jaci Carleton, and I'm the Creator Marketing Manager here at VENDO, so I help lead our UGC influencer and affiliate programs.
And I'm Brooke Wester. I'm our TikTok shop team lead, and I'm just overseeing the shop management, affiliate strategy, creator marketing on TikTok specifically, as well as ad management.
Awesome. So let's get into our topic. We have a lot to discuss today. I want to start things off with Brooke here and talk a little bit about the tactical side of things. So when it comes to TikTok shop specifically, Brooke, what's working right now for sourcing high-performing creators? And are we leaning more into TikTok's creator marketplace, different affiliate tools, or other platforms in general?
So I have found in my experience, at least as of right now, it's truly a mix of both approaches. But we found that the affiliate tools and third-party platforms have been most effective as they have a bit more filter tools and searching capabilities. And the TikTok creator marketplace as it stands is very robust. And the search tools on it as of now are a bit limited. So we have found utilizing some of the other third-party tools have been best for sourcing high-performing creators at a more efficient pace.
Awesome. And then Jaci, leading creator marketing as a whole here at VENDO outside of TikTok shop, with your team working across multiple platforms. Can you speak a little bit about that? And when you're sourcing those creators outside of TikTok shop, how do your methods maybe differ? Are there any go-to tools or any unconventional methods that you are using to source creators?
So I would say depending on the channel, we're going to be using different sorts of platforms or methods. So for more organic or paid social, we use tools like Upfluence to find our creators, and we use the standard types of creator demographics such as age range, gender, audience type. And then once we have the basics covered, we'll then get into more specifics. So we can search by specific hashtags or keywords. So for example, if we were working with a luxury skincare brand, we might search hashtag clean skincare to find specific category creators, or we can search the brand name or certain type of creators or competitors. And then on the Amazon side, a new method that we've been utilizing is the influencer finder in Helium 10, which has been such a great tool for us because it has a database of over 50,000 Amazon specific influencers and creators. So similar to other third-party platforms, we can use advanced filters, but we can search creators by the influencer and the product level, which is really great. So for Amazon specific campaigns, we can search by the product ASIN, keywords in the bio, engagement metrics, video quantity, and then we can also find top creator badges on Amazon. And then another method that we're using within Helium 10 is searching by the upper and lower carousel. So the upper carousel is the top of the gallery where those videos are featured, and then the lower carousel is the bottom of the product page. And this is super important because we can find creators whose videos are populating within Amazon's algorithm, and then we can work with those creators to ultimately lead to more visibility and drive more sales.
That's awesome. Yes, we love Helium 10 here at VENDO, and specifically how often they're innovating. So It's great to see some of their newer TikTok shop capabilities as well, even outside of the influencer finder, which of course, as Jaci just shared, does have a lot of value. But even things like setting up your listings on TikTok shop and really launching your brand on that platform. If you're already using Helium 10 for Amazon, then there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that can facilitate your launch process on TikTok shop as well. But one of the hardest hitting questions that I want to chat with you guys about is, of course, how do we know what makes a good creator, right? And when you're scanning through these creator profiles, what are some of the green flags versus red flags that you're really diving into to understand, is this a creator that I think is a high opportunity creator for my brand to partner with? So can each of you kind of give a little bit of context into what these red and green flags are that you might be looking for?
Yeah, so I'll jump in with some green flags and things that we look that I feel like really carries across any platform of creators that we might be searching for. So number one thing is obviously performance. Significant views and engagements are a big thing that we're typically looking for, not just the high follower count, but looking for authentic likes, comments, and shares. Also, someone who has a good internet personality and is really like telling a story or resonating with someone or a specific group or demographic or niche in the platform that they're creating content on. And then also the content quality, making sure the creator's content is consistently high quality, visually clear, well edited, and thoughtfully put together. And then also, we don't want to be the first brand or partner that's working with a creator. We want to see some previous brand experience and able to really showcase and highlight what that content looked like, how it turned out, and hopefully we can see that continue as we partner with them for other brands. And then consistent posting. We want to see someone who's regular uploading posts with a clear niche or theme in their content. And then last thing I would say is just recent sales data. And this is especially important on TikTok shop, but I know it is for really all platforms. Just wanting to see creators who can drive sales with real data, whether that's on TikTok shop, Amazon, or other platforms, is obviously a major asset as well.
Awesome. And then real quick, Jaci, before you give us some additional context on maybe some red flags as well, would love to answer a question from our audience. And Brooke, this will be more from you. We got a question from, I believe it is Hafiz. Again, sorry if we're pronouncing that incorrectly, but he is wondering if we can suggest the best platform to find TikTok shop creators, either on commission or retainers as well.
What we have been using that's really successful is a platform called Reacher AI. We really love it because it helps us manage our CRM tool and get creators into a program and keep track of them there, but also sourcing new creators that are really aligned with the brand in the content niches that we're looking for. And it has a lot more filter and searching capabilities that we don't necessarily have just looking in the affiliate center on TikTok shop. So that would definitely be my favorite and recommendation I would use.
So I would say first and foremost, when we're looking at creators, do they have, if they have a high following rate, does it look low engagement on their posts? We want to look at the comments. Does it look like robots are posting? Does it look very spammy? And then the content itself, does it look high quality? Does the video quality look good? Are they speaking to the products in an organic, authentic way? We don't typically like to work with creators who all of their posts may be sponsored or they just feel overly salesy or promotional, because we know that more organic and authentic content performs better. And then also just their posting history. Does anything look controversial? When we're working with our brands, I always think that not only are we, but our creators are an extension of the brand. So we want to be sure that nothing on their page, is going to jump out at us as a red flag or controversial or something that might be triggering.
Awesome. And then Jaci, on that same note, when it comes to actually vetting these creators, how much are you weighing content quality versus follower count? Because I think a common misconception is that we need to be going after creators with only high follower counts. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, so I would say I'd weigh quality over follower count. the creator space has changed and evolved so much over the last several years. And we now know that just because a creator has a high follower count does not always mean that they have a high conversion rate or their content is high quality. So we work with a lot of creators all the time who have really great content, but they only might have a few hundred or a few thousand followers. And also some of our campaigns, at least on my team, we don't always require our creators to post the content on their channels. So follower count is not always a huge factor for us.
Got it. That's good to know there. And then, Brooke, with over 80% of sales being driven on TikTok Shop specifically, are those vetting principles pretty similar to what Jaci elaborated on, or are we looking for different signals in terms of the KPIs, et cetera?
Typically, we do place more importance on the content quality over follower count. So yes, on TikTok, any video can go viral, whether you have 10 followers or 3 million followers. So other signals are important as well, but we typically see that content quality correlates with strong conversion rate in AOV. So they kind of all fall in line together.
Awesome. So now we've gotten to a point where we feel we found the right creator. Jaci, what do you feel from this point forward is some of the more effective strategies around relationship building, and maybe talk a little bit more about outreach, but how can we actually get a response from some of these creators thereafter?
So in terms of outreach strategy, my approach is always to be direct and personable. The first email that we are sending to a creator is the first touch, and we want to make a lasting impression to build a relationship. So I always tell my team when we are reaching out to creators that we don't want to sound like a robot, and we do want our communication to feel like our creators are talking to a real person on the other side of that email. So some of the things that our outreach email will include will be some sort of greeting that does feel personable, and how we found the creator. Did we see a recent post that we loved? What about them stood out to us, and why are we reaching out to them? Because we want to connect with them, and we want our email and for them to feel valued. The campaign objective, why are we reaching out? What do we want them to do? Which also includes the campaign details and the deliverables. So what we are looking for up front. And then for a CTA, I always add in the date of when we need to make a decision by, so that we're letting the creator know upfront the timeline expectations, so that it also can create a sense of urgency for the creator, because they know that we're moving quickly and we are looking for creators to collaborate with us by the end of the week.
Awesome. And then, Brooke, on that same note, I think with TikTok Shop being a sales channel and a marketplace, a lot of brands are coming over from Amazon, Walmart, or D2C, expecting TikTok Shop to be a viable channel to drive sales. So I really want to focus on how can we build long-term loyalty with those customers on that platform that is very transaction driven. And then in addition to that, are you seeing the same outreach methods work well on TikTok Shop that Jaci just elaborated on as well?
Yes, I think they do typically work well. And when TikTok Shop first kind of rolled out, it was more of a mass outreach best practice, and it felt a little more transactional and kind of like a one-time touch point. Now what we're seeing the most success with is building more of those longer-term partnerships with top-tier creators that are really driving sales and moving the needle in the platform specifically. So finding ways to be more intentional about outreach and constant communication with them versus just looking for quick turnaround deals, or maybe like a creator who's only focused on the commission. So I try to treat every interaction like it's the beginning of a partnership, not just a one-off ask. I look for creators who are showing up consistently and understand their audience and feel authentic to the products they're promoting, and it doesn't feel, I guess, like they're just trying to make a quick buck. And even though TikTok Shop is commission-based, and it's important to focus on that, because ultimately all of our clients are wanting to drive sales on the platform, I found that small things like offering transparency on earnings, sharing performance insights, and just showing appreciation by sending new product, maybe increasing commission, offering tiered incentives, really go a long way. And when a creator feels seen and supported, they're more likely to keep working with you. So in nature, the platform is transactional, but the relationship with creators doesn't always have to be. You can build loyalty over time that way, in my opinion.
That's a great point, and actually ties in well with another question we just got in the chat, which I'd love for you both to speak to. And that is, this is the comment. I'm working with several brands and personally reach out to affiliates, inviting them to a private Discord server. There, I conduct meetings with them, provide scripts, and educate them about the product and content strategy. Can you suggest some additional tips to improve this process? So it's great that you're both on the call, because Brooke and Jaci actually lead our Discord community internally, and we've been making strides since the beginning of the year to set this up and scale our outreach through that. So can you each kind of answer that question in terms of, are there any additional suggestions you have for our viewers on if they are taking this outreach off platform through a Discord community? How do you really recommend facilitating engagement with that community?
So I would say one tip I would provide about scripts is, typically when I put together a creative brief, I don't like to include a script because I do want our creators and affiliates, influencers, to really speak to the product or the brand authentically. And so having a very specific creative brief that has, the brand information, the brand guidelines, specific verbiage of what to say, what not to say, and how to speak to the product or the brand is really important. And then I would say let the creators be creative and trust them with handling the messaging and how they want to speak to the product and how it incorporates into their day-to-day life. But as long as you're giving them guidelines and inspiration, I would say maybe pass on the script and really allowing the creator to create the content.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brooke, anything to add to that?
I totally agree with Jaci. I think I always like to call them guardrails, like things, do's and don'ts, and like best practices, and maybe a few key talking points. But if you're providing scripts, it can sometimes come across as very scripted and maybe a little too salesy when the creator makes the content that you're looking for. So allowing them to really lean into what feels authentic to them is important. And then also, just to add on to the Discord, I think Discord's a great platform to be communicating with creators. It sounds like this question is already really like doing and facilitating best practices. But I think also potentially introducing an email newsletter or another point of contact on a different platform, because some people have different preferences on communication, I think is a great way to stay in contact with as many of the creators that you are wanting in the program as possible.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And just speaking about everything you guys are saying on the UGC side, I want to transition a bit to that. I know, Jaci, you lead the UGC arm internally at VENDO. What content formats have you seen performing best across platforms right now? And are there any that you think brands might be sleeping on?
So I would say we see a lot of how-to and product review and testimonials perform really well. One of my favorites that feels very organic is when a creator posts a video of a testimonial or a review, and it looks like they just purchased the product right off of the shelf, and we're trying it and testing it with them for the first time. And some of those videos I've seen is, just them testing out or trying the product in their car. Another content style that we have been trying to lean into a little bit more lately is really focusing our talking points on the product frequently asked questions and the product returns. We know that our customers could potentially pass on a product with negative reviews or because the product is being returned for numerous reasons. So when working with our creators, these talking points are super important for us to hit on because ultimately that can help benefit the customer's purchasing process, reduce returns, and then overall improve conversion rates.
That's a great point. Brooke, do you feel some of this content Jaci's speaking about can be repurposed for TikTok Shop, or what are you seeing on TikTok Shop just in terms of content styles or hooks that are really driving sales?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot that correlates from Jaci's content that she's securing over to TikTok Shop and can definitely be repurposed. I feel like we find that the content that performs best feels very raw and authentic, and something that the creators kind of just maybe making in their car. Like they just purchased the product and they're reviewing it for the first time. Those always perform really well. I think what consumers on TikTok Shop are looking for is someone who feels relatable, almost like a friend giving like a genuine recommendation to you rather than something that's overly polished or salesy content that's probably coming directly from the brand. So what really drives engagement and sales from like an organic creator content standpoint are strong hooks like before and after transformations, something that's like a storytelling. And then also when there's like deals or promos, highlighting those and then framing the product as a solution to a specific problem is kind of the keys to success we've found on TikTok Shop in terms of content, but also product reviews are huge as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all great points. I wish we had more time, guys, but I want to break this up into sections because creator marketing is a beast in itself, and we can do a whole series on this, which, you know what, we might do because I think that this was very beneficial for our audience. But we appreciate everyone who has stayed on to engage with us. We will definitely have another section in the future in which we talk about some emerging trends in the space. And then we'll elaborate further on how we're really bridging the gap between creator marketing and TikTok Shop internally. But hopefully this gives you a better idea of how our teams are integrated as well across general creator marketing, cross-platform, in addition to TikTok Shop. But Brooke, I hope your first experience was great. And Jackie, I hope this experience was even better than your first.
It was great. Very fun. Excited to continue the series because, like you said, there's lots to talk about.
Absolutely. Jackie, anything to close on for us?
Yeah, this was great. I'm excited that we're all here together and excited to keep this series going.
Awesome. Thank you all for tuning in to Vendo Velocity. We'll see you in 2 weeks from now to chat a little bit about Walmart DSP, which we're excited to dive into. Thanks, everyone, and chat with you all soon. Have a great day.